There's a Japanese bullet train manufacturer that improved their trains by just 1% every single day. Within 3 years, their trains went from good to the fastest in the world. No dramatic overhauls. No billion-dollar breakthroughs. Just 1% better, day after day. And here's what makes this terrifying: if you improve by just 1% every day for a year, you don't end up 365% better. You end up 37 times better. That's not a typo. That's compound growth, and it's the mathematical secret behind almost every overnight success you've ever heard of. But here's what nobody tells you about the 1% rule: it works both ways. Get 1% worse each day. In a year, you decline to nearly zero. So the real question isn't whether you believe in this principle. It's which direction you're currently headed without even realizing it. Let me show you why this matters more than anything else you'll learn today. Most people hear 1% improvement and think it's too small to matter. That's exactly why it works. See, your brain has this defense mechanism against change. Psychologists call it homeostasis, your mind's obsession with keeping everything the same. Try to transform your life overnight, and your brain triggers every alarm system it has. Anxiety. Doubt. That voice saying, "This isn't really you." But 1%? That's so tiny it slips right past your mental security guards. It's the difference between doing 10 push-ups and doing 11. Between reading for 20 minutes instead of 19. Your brain doesn't even register it as change. But here's where it gets interesting. There's a researcher named James Clear who spent years studying habit formation and marginal gains. He discovered that the British cycling team used this exact approach to go from winning almost nothing for 100 years to dominating the Olympics. Their coach didn't look for one massive change. He made hundreds of 1% improvements. They tested different fabrics to find which was most aerodynamic. They changed the pillows athletes slept on to optimize recovery. They even painted the inside of the team truck white to spot dust that might affect bike performance. Each change, barely noticeable. Combined over time, unbeatable. And if you're getting value from this, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I break down psychological principles like this every week, the stuff that actually works when you apply it. And honestly, if this video helps even one person make that first 1% change today, it's worth it. Alright, let's keep going. Now, you might be thinking this only works for athletes or businesses with resources. That's where you'd be wrong, and here's why. There's a concept in mathematics called the aggregation of marginal gains. Imagine you're flying from Los Angeles to New York. If the pilot adjusts the course by just 3.5 degrees south at takeoff, you don't land in New York. You land in Washington, D.C., over 200 miles away. That tiny adjustment, maintained over distance, creates a massive difference. Your life works the same way. The person you are today is the compound result of your 1% choices over the past year, 5 years, decade. Every decision is a vote for the type of person you're becoming. Skip the workout. That's a vote. Choose the difficult conversation over avoidance. That's a vote. Read 10 pages before bed instead of scrolling. Vote. You're not looking for perfection. You're looking for direction. But here's the part that separates people who actually use this from people who just nod along and forget: you have to track the right metrics. Most people measure the wrong things. They check their weight every day, get discouraged when it doesn't change, and quit. But weight is a lagging indicator. It shows you what already happened, not what's happening now. The 1% rule requires you to measure leading indicators, the tiny behaviors that predict future results. Not whether you lost weight today, but whether you moved your body. Not whether you're successful yet, but whether you showed up to do the work. A writer who tracks wrote for 15 minutes will always outperform one who only tracks finished a book. One's measuring the process, the controllable 1% action. The other's measuring outcomes they can't directly control. And this is where most people's understanding breaks down completely. You've probably heard that it takes 21 days to build a habit, right? That's completely false. A study from University College London found the actual average is 66 days, and for some habits it took over 250 days. But here's what matters more, there's a valley you have to cross first. Researchers call it the Plateau of Latent Potential. You're putting in effort, making those 1% improvements, but you see zero results. Your progress is being stored, not yet shown. It's like heating ice from 25 degrees to 31 degrees. Nothing changes. Nothing melts. All that energy seems wasted. Then you hit 32 degrees, and suddenly everything transforms. The results were always coming. They were just delayed. This is exactly where most people quit. They're at 31 degrees, 1 degree from the breakthrough, and they walk away because they can't see what's building beneath the surface. So here's what actually happens when you commit to the 1% rule: the first month is invisible. You're changing, but nobody notices, including you. Month 2, you notice small things. Month 3, close friends start commenting. Month 6, strangers ask what you're doing differently. By month 12, you're unrecognizable, and people call it luck. They'll say you're talented, gifted, or had some advantage. They won't see the 365 tiny decisions that got you there. And that's exactly how it should be. Because the 1% rule isn't about impressing anyone. It's about becoming someone you don't have to recover from being. It's about building a life where your daily actions and your deepest values are the same thing. The Japanese call this Kaizen, continuous improvement. The secret that rebuilt their entire economy after World War II. Not through dramatic revolution, but through relentless, incremental progress. So here's your real choice: you can wait for motivation, for the perfect moment, for conditions to align. Or you can identify one thing, just one, that you can improve by 1% today. Not tomorrow. Today. And then do it again tomorrow. The compound growth will handle the rest. The impossible? It's just the unlikely repeated 365 times.